All right, what's up, you guys? So, 30 minutes ago, I decided I was going to come down for a workout. And then I was like, well, let me go up and get my tripod. Well, first I noticed that no one had wrapped shit. The gym looks like fucked up. I feel as though I deserve much better living conditions. I take care of everything. I clean after myself. I respect my belongings. I'm kind.
So is this the Nike hat she was talking about? Oh, looky, she's wearing her necklace.
Compassionate, among other things. I know how to make hella money. I'm very intelligent. So there are a plethora of reasons. I'm prettier than you. I'm better than you. I'm different than you. Whatever the fuck you need to tell yourself
No.
to make me right,
I'm sorry, that's not nice.
wrong, bad, or good. At the end of the day, I deserve to be elsewhere. I deserve to be around people who conduct themselves in the same way I conduct myself. People who are
Okay, so you do want help. You do want to go to psych ward because if you want to be surrounded by people who act like you, that's where you need to go. Golly, this is 30 minutes.
not going to bring me down by their vibe being down. That's number one. Number two, FTR, I wanted to talk about some of the things that I went through to get to where I am mentally. I feel like people who are trapped in a cycle of pain, in a cycle of hopelessness, helplessness, I feel like it helps them to hear about some of the fucked up shit that success stories have to go through. And you can sit there and say, well, Heather, you don't have $12 million in your bank account yet, so you're not a success. Well, let me tell you what I am successful at. I've successfully completed 3 courses, ISSA, NCCPT, and NASM for personal training. I've successfully kept my shit together while being beaten by a man with a tire iron,
Oh my God.
stabbed and jumped by 3 women. I've successfully paid off a car all on my own. I've successfully gotten numerous different apartments. I've successfully given birth and raised 3 children for 14 years, with minimal help from anyone. I have grown multiple successful marketing businesses and content creation businesses. I have successfully grown numerous Instagram accounts and other Twitter, other.
All right, I hope y'all can hear this. I guess it's because she's in the gym and she's so far away from her phone. I know I need to commentate. I don't even know the rules of how long I can have her talk without me interrupting, so bear with me, guys.
Platforms, TikTok accounts to several hundred or thousand of viewers and followers. So there's a lot of things that I'm successful at. I've successfully meal prepped. I've successfully taught others how to meal prep. I've successfully loved and been loved. I've successfully done a lot of shit. So with that being said, my ceiling is falling in my apartment.
Uh-oh.
I have not been paid even once. I still.
Oh, okay. For a second, I thought she was saying that she was supposed to get paid because of her ceiling was falling. Um, I just don't understand about the job that she's talking about. That, like, they owe her a paycheck or something like that. Like, I don't know if she worked for a couple of hours. I don't know. I have no idea. But it's not really hard to make sure they pay you your money. You know what I'm saying? If you really deserve it.
Haven't received a check. I still.
Oh, sorry again. If her ceiling really is like falling or like leaking or whatever, I'm so curious if they're gonna go inside to try to fix it and then see her place. That would be exciting. I wish she would go live.
Haven't received a court date, and I'm still pretty much in limbo with the whole situation. So I continue to document. That's number one. Number two, or maybe that's number 2. Anyways, number 3, I 100% want to move forward on charges of domestic terrorism, abuse, assault, negligence for everyone who's been involved. 100%. There's not a doubt in my mind I want to move forward. Number 3 and 4, I want to talk about, so I'm being prevented right now from going live on Instagram as well as YouTube. So I'm just going to take video and then I'll probably do this live again, probably somewhere publicly. Then more people can hear in person as well as online. So I just wanted to discuss what was going on in my life prior to everything that I discussed in length on the live video of my Instagram, where I discussed Marissa sucking the dicks of all of my exes. So I talked about a lot of shit during that video, but there's some more stuff that I wasn't able to touch on, and that's what I'm gonna do now.
Okay, that's the stuff that I'm talking about. Where it aggravates me. Like I said, everybody's different. So I'm trying not to judge on that. But if you have been like sexually assaulted and stuff like that, you kind of want to steer away from it. You don't want to talk about it. It's like almost kind of like icky to you. I mean, that's kind of how I feel. I know I have a subscriber who kind of felt the same exact way. So for her to just be so vulgar about it, it doesn't help her case. It does not help me feel bad for her. I mean, that sounds bad because, I mean, no one should go through that at all, but I don't know.
So, after meeting Dylan and beginning to date him, or, you know, he proposed to me and I was engaged in a relationship with him, and it wasn't really dating. Our relationship was different than any outside relationship. I'd say it was much more intimate because we really got to know each other. We spent a lot of time talking, planning business, growing business, doing business. We were in the club getting fucked up together, you know, and this is how we fell in love. We were at a table having 4 to 6 hour conversations, and this is how we fell in love. So that's number 1. Number 2, I knew that I loved him because I saw the fuck up and I saw what the fuck up could be when he stopped fucking up. And that was something I had really related to in a lot of ways because I myself have fucked up, you know, everyone has, but I knew how it felt to be labeled, to be judged, and I respected him for being able to rise out of that fuck up, so to speak. Now, right before Dylan came home, first of all, maintaining any relationship with someone in prison is exhausting. It's absolutely exhausting. The prison system is staffed with high school graduates who are yes men to their superiors. But they're yes men who have a lot of freedom to mistreat and abuse the people beneath them, who in their eyes are the inmates. So they're supposed to abide by policy, but they're working with these inmates for 8 to 10 hour periods, sometimes longer, with little supervision. That means that they can mistreat and abuse these inmates and not get caught very easily. They can manipulate, they can coerce, and vice versa. If you're dealing with an inmate who has an above average level of intelligence, Dylan, and they're dealing with, you know, an officer, a CO who barely graduated high school, it's very easy to understand that they could easily be manipulated and used and coerced themselves, which is another reason why he got away with so much shit.
Stop. I'm sitting over here breaking my straightener. just first of all, I would like to say, just like anybody else, any groupings of people, there's good and there's bad. So I do believe there are some great COs, and I think there are some horrible ones. I also think there's some horrible inmates in there who do some horrible things. And then there's some who just are trying to do their time and get the heck out. So I know this sounds horrible, but the best thing to do is just avoid the whole situation and don't get locked up. But yes, I do understand and I do agree that some of these things are corrupt, but just like she mentioned, I don't know if she meant to or not, but a lot of the inmates are messed up too. Most of them, probably more of them than the COs, will, like, they could pay off the guard or for the guard to turn their head or do things without the guards even knowing. And she was just mentioning Dylan, so I don't know. That just like kind of aggravated me.
I remember one time sitting at a table knowing that Dylan had hooked up with one of the COs, knowing for a fact this bitch locked me and my child in this small caged area with 6 or 7 witnesses and refused to let us leave. There were tons of events like that took place over the...
Stop. There were several other witnesses who saw. Okay, sorry. But yeah, I think that would cause way too much suspicion on her end if she was like, oh yeah, I'm sleeping with Dylan, so I'm gonna lock you and your child in a room. But yet there's 6 other people, she says, as witnesses, so they were probably in there with her, and it was just protocol. Like, do you not think that someone would be like, why are you locking this lady and this girl up? Sometimes that's just what they have to do, to just hang on a minute, check everything, and then you can go. She turns every little thing into just, like, I'm gonna start doing that. Not really, but I'm just like, how can you just take all these little minor, like, nothings and make it into something horrible?
There were tons of events like that took place over the 4 years Dylan was incarcerated, both in Vienna and at Stateville. I, have done my best to be forgiving, to be understanding, to move forward. But I'm gonna just say one more time, my car is gone, my home is gone, my bank account.
She's gonna say, I'm gonna say it one more time. This, I freaking wish this was the last time. Unfortunately, this will never ever be the last time she ever says this to us.
Is on 0, and I'm still waiting on that check. I haven't been scheduled a court date. No one has heard any of my claims that I can prove. All provable. Now, after we made it through that long process that was very stressful, exhausting, painful, to stay committed to someone while he's having his issues on the inside and I'm being sexually abused and having my issues, stress, and life on the outside, we're both very exhausted emotionally. And we somehow made it through. So, during the last year of Dylan's incarceration, he was moved from Vienna, Illinois, 8 hours south, to Stateville in Joliet. He was a part of some work program, supposedly. And that program was a year long. Stateville is also the place where inmates go from county to be classified and await their assignment of which prison they'll spend the duration of their sentence in. So they call it NRC. Things are very bad in NRC, but we'll get to that at another day. Once Dylan got moved to Statesville, I was happy. It meant I wouldn't have to pay someone upwards of $1,000 for hotel food. The visits in Vienna were contact, so you're able to touch and hug and kiss. And they're long, like anywhere from 4 to 8 hours long. You could stay all day. There's no limit. And I mostly always would. So you've got to understand that, you know, him moving closer, it meant now I only had to drive an hour and a half outside of the city where I lived to see him as opposed to 8 hours. Which I did every single Saturday and Sunday. Inmates are only given visits 2 days a week and also on holidays. And they're an hour each. So I was driving 3 hours to see him for 1. I could feed him, I could hug him, I could hold his hand, and that was about it. But we were both grateful. We got to take our first set of photos together when he moved to Statesville because they didn't allow photography in Vienna. And I remember him so excited, babe, do your hair. I'm gonna buy a set of photos. And I was equally as excited. Like, I had no pictures of him. I only knew him from the party scene before he went in. We weren't posing for photos together.
Stop. I only knew him from the party scene before. That kind of contradicts her story that she did a couple days ago. Doesn't it? I thought she was like together with him. And now all of a sudden she only knew him from the party scene before, so that's why they haven't had pictures together. I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna wait.
He was a bad guy before he went in. I mean, he was doing fucked up shit. A lot of fucked up shit. So, we took our first set of photos. He bought photos for every weekend. We took photos every weekend together. And I knew that I was the only person that was visiting him because you have to get your visiting list approved. So it was me at every single visit, every single weekend. And I did that for the entire year he was there at Statesville. Am I recording? Yes. Okay. Besides the cost of, you know, the food he wanted to eat, it's also the gas, the time. Let me say that one more time. 3 hours round trip to sit with him for 1 hour. Every Saturday and Sunday and also every holiday.
Wait, oh my gosh, I'm so confused. I can't tell if it's just me because I'm not able to like fully pay 100% attention. But I thought she just said, how's it 3 hours together? I thought she said it was 1 hour, so then it would be 2 hours. And then she said I could only sit with him for an hour or so. But didn't she just say that she was able to be with him almost like all day? Or she jumped into a different place and didn't tell me? Did y'all catch that? Or am I not listening carefully? Or is it another contradiction?
But I did it, you know, as stressful as it was. Now, 2 weeks before he was going to get released, I was leaving a visit and some bitch called me a dumb white bitch. Her and her inmate were staring at Dylan and I hard. And I kept on asking Dylan, like, what the fuck is that bitch looking at? And Dylan's like, nothing, babe, she's not looking at you. No, everything's fine. But I'm looking back and I can see both her and the dude are staring at me, talking about me blatantly, making hand gestures towards me. And so she's probably receiving my energy like, bitch, what the fuck are you looking at? Although I didn't say anything to her, I could feel them, you know, and Dylan's denying it. So I leave. And in the parking lot, she tries to juke me. What? And it was like she wanted to fight me right then and there. And I didn't know this bitch from Adam. I'd never even seen her in the visiting room prior to that, to those 2 weeks that I saw her. But I was there every weekend. So I told her, I'm not gonna fight you here at the prison, bitch. Number one, I don't fight. I'm a lady. Number two, if I was gonna fight you, it wouldn't be on federal property. And number three, I don't even know you. What the fuck is your deal? What's your issue? What's your concern? Why are you starting shit with me? And she said something along the lines of some derogatory racist comment about me being white again. She was Hispanic. And that shit heated me up. I'm tired of being, you know, bullied around, especially by people in the prison system, because I'm not hood enough, or I'm not street enough, or because I'm too white. So I'm heated. And I tell her, look, bitch, there's a gas station up the road. Meet me there, I'm gonna fuck you up. I've never been in a fight before in my life, never. She says, cool, run it. We go to the gas station, I jump out of my car, slam the door. This bitch jumps out with 3 bitches. 3, I'm alone. There's no one in my car.
Okay, is anyone feeling like this is like a storytelling time that's like not adding up? I just find it really hard to believe a stranger would try to fight at a prison and want to fight her just because she was white. Like, that does not make any sense whatsoever.
I have no weapon, it's just me. Her and 2 other women, all having weapons, jump me and stab me over and over and over and over and over and over and over. On camera, in Bolingbrook, not 10 minutes after I left the prison. Then they jump in their car like some cowards and dip. I'm laying on the ground bleeding out, and another woman came. And she said,
okay, I may be speaking too soon. Maybe she'll get to it. But if she just said on camera, what does she mean on camera? Was it at the store's camera? If so, why didn't she immediately get that footage? There should be no problem whatsoever if you were stabbed multiple times, laying on the ground, bleeding out, and you would probably need to call 911 to get medical attention. There should be no problem whatsoever for the cops to pull the footage to see who did that. And again, like we were saying, all these times she's said that, you would think while she was saying it, she would show us where she got stabbed. And we can see her scars. There's so many people who, I mean, I guess she needs to just constantly thank God. But there's many people out there who, like I just heard someone the other day who got stabbed, like on his, like shoulder or in the back, and he instantly died. Just one stab on the shoulder, like back, like, so for her to get stabbed multiple times and I don't see anything, and she lived through it, that's a miracle.
hey, a bunch of people had already called 911, and I told her, I think I'm probably gonna die. I'm bleeding out, there's blood everywhere. There's blood all over my car. There's blood all over the ground. There's blood all over my seat. I'm losing consciousness, feeling dizzy and faint. The paramedics get there. They cut my clothes off. I'm naked in the back of the ambulance. They're counting puncture wounds on my body. They take me to Bolingbrook Hospital. I was scared. I was alone. My phone was gone. I had a trap phone in the glove box of my car, just in case. What do I mean by trap phone? Prepaid phone. That's just what they call it in the streets when it's a prepaid phone, trap phone.
Okay, girl.
Prepaid. I had one of those in the glove box of my car. I had no contract phone with me. My money was gone out of my wallet. I had $500 to $1,000, 100% on God. Cash in my wallet. The only people who had access to that were the police in Bolingbrook. They were the ones who went through my car. So, the doctors checked me out. They put stitches, blue stitches in all the wounds. The bitches were using screwdrivers, not knives. So you only use sutures for deep cuts. These were all screwdriver cuts, so they weren't long enough to use sutures. So they glue them all up, clean them all out, do some sort of radiology. I want to say it was a CT. It wasn't an MRI, to make sure that my lung wasn't punctured because I was having difficulty breathing. It turned out to just be broken and bruised ribs. Thank God my lung wasn't punctured, but it was.
Oh my gosh, I gotta take a break for a second.
With a badge, coming in and seeing a woman just got stabbed, crying, shaking, scared to death. Scared to death. And instead of you helping me, you say you're not gonna do anything because I'm the aggressor. I just got jumped by 3 women, stabbed 11 times with screwdrivers. I'm alone. I'm the aggressor? You have security footage, but you're not gonna do anything. Okay, that's cool. One of the cops drives me back to my car. My car's taped off. Tape all around it.
Do they do that? I mean, I guess that was nice of them, but I would just think, like, if you were injured and you were in the hospital, I mean, I know it sounds bad, but usually it's like you got to find your own way back type thing. That's crazy that the officer actually stayed there, to be honest. Like, I mean, there are some instances where the cops stay there, but most of the time it's because they're worried about the person, like, fleeing. Like if it's an inmate or someone who is running or someone who's already, I don't know, like, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me. And that would really piss me off if that happened to me. Best believe I wouldn't go down like that. I wouldn't just like, okay, I guess you're not going to do anything. But it just doesn't make sense to me.
Crime scene tape. There's blood all over the floor at the gas station. My car seat covered in blood. Covered. The floorboard covered in blood. There's blood splatter all over the hood, quarter panel, and door of my car. The cops use these stickers to take measurements of how much blood is on the car for their report. The stickers, the crime scene tape, and the blood are all still there. As this officer drops me back off to my car at 2 or 3 in the morning with no money, not even gas, because all the cash I had was stolen out of my car. The police have no idea where it went, none whatsoever. I was called gangbanging trash, never been a gangbanger in my whole life. I was called prison trash, never been to prison in my whole life other than to visit. And I was told I wouldn't be assisted by the cops. Now my money is missing, my phone is missing, but the cops are the good guys though, right? Okay. Whatever. So I'm at my car in paper pants and a paper shirt in the middle of the fucking night.
I feel like she's really bored, and she feels like, I think she's exaggerating a lot here. Like, if any of this happened, I don't know.
I can barely move. Do you want, I don't know if you, to get stabbed by a knife hurts. But if you survive, they suture you and you're good. To get stabbed by a dull instrument, like an ice pick or a screwdriver, causes not only a deep laceration, but also a contusion. So the force of that object, a big bruise. I could barely move. Cool, I tough it out. I peel the stickers off my car and wipe the blood off.
Okay, again, if this really happened, this is very, very unfortunate. But there's no way I would go down like that. You best believe somebody would be doing something, and I would not be driving or riding in a police car with no motherfucking clothes on. I can tell you that right now. Hell no. No, this is just like really starting to irritate me. I feel like she's like on a high and she's just rambling because none of this makes sense. She's sitting here talking about how it left such a big bruise. But it's like, I would be more worried about how you were just saying how you were like pouring out blood. And if you were on the ground, how in the world did you get blood all over your car? Like, this is not, like, inside of the car too. Like, it's not making any sense. I'm so confused. Like, if this really did happen, I wouldn't have left the hospital the way that she supposedly left the hospital. I'm trying so hard to, like, understand and put the pieces together. But it's starting to sound like a make-believe story. It just does not make sense. And if she was okay, if she was good with like her family and friends back then, wouldn't there be an emergency contact? Wouldn't they call her mom, her aunt, her dad, a friend, anybody? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I'm so confused. Like, I just want to like write down these questions. I'm going to start doing that. Like, writing down all the questions that I have whenever she tells these stories, and then try to get her in for an interview, or at least message her these questions and see if she'll like answer them back. Not trying to like call her out and be mean and have her like relive these things, but just so we can understand, because it's hard to understand these things. Like, there's so many, like, why didn't your parents show up at the hospital? Why did you leave the hospital with no clothes on? I don't even know if they do that. Like, nothing, it just doesn't make sense. I'm just getting really irritated. And I gotta go to church.
My car and wipe the blood off. I get back in my car and I call TCP. And I tell him, I'm fucked up, I'm scared, I don't want to go home. I don't know what to do. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I just got stabbed, jumped and stabbed, I'm scared. He said, meet me here. He gave me a location, I met him there. He gave me some gas money, all my money was gone. I didn't want to go home, I was terrified. I was terrified to be alone. I was numb, I was scared, I was in pain. My kids are with their dad, like they always were on the weekends. They were with me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then I drop them off at school Friday, or they'd get picked up Friday morning for school. And I'd go get them again Monday or Sunday night usually. That was our visitation schedule. So I spent the next day or two with TC, just sitting passenger in his car while he worked and ran errands, terrified to go home. Finally, the day comes, Monday, that the kids are coming home, and I go.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm already stopping there, but like this person, why wasn't this person called while you're at the hospital if it was so bad? Why wasn't this person helping you get justice and taking you to the police station or doing whatever you had to do? Not making sense, bro.
And I try to get a little rest. And I wake up from a nap and I go outside to go pick up my daughter from school, preschool. And there's a fucking boot on my car. I have no money. All the money I had just got robbed from me by the Bolingbrook police. I start calling people begging for help. I go in my house where I commonly hid cash. I always hid cash. I start tearing shit up. I found $200 bills, maybe $3. I needed $900 to get the fucking boot off my car. $900. I called my kid's great-grandma. She borrowed me the money. And I walked from Pulaski and Irving to Ashland and Irving 2 days after being stabbed. Wounded as fuck. But I paid that shit. I got back to my house and I thought, God, I don't know if I can keep going. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I'm sad. I couldn't talk to Dylan because when you're in prison, you have to have your phone numbers approved. You have to give the phone number to the prison staff and they have to approve the phone number. You can't just call any number. So when they took my contract phone, I had no way to reach him. The phone number from the trap phone, he didn't have it on the list. So I'm calling his mom, terrified, his dad.
Is that true? I didn't think phone numbers had to be approved. I thought it was just visitations.
Finally, I was able to get a hold of his dad right around the time they took the boot off the car. And his mom said she'd have Dylan call his dad. So I went over there and waited for Dylan to call on his dad's phone. I also went to visit him the next day, right after the stabbing. So...
Wait, stop! Ugh! I don't know, she's making me feel like I'm going crazy. She said she also went to go see him the day after the stabbing. But she just said, what was it, 2 days after the stabbing, the last 2 days, the day that she came home from the hospital, and then the day after, she was with her friend. And then, I guess somehow she ended up home or something. She was about to go get her kid from preschool, and then that's whenever the boot was on her car. I'm so confused. So when did you go see Dylan? Like, I'm so freaking confused. I don't know if it's me or if it's her. She's definitely one of these people who can start driving you crazy and start wondering, like, am I going crazy? Am I, like, not hearing her right? Like, I don't get it. Like, she says all this, and then she was like, oh, and by the way, I went to go see Dylan the day after I got stabbed. Okay, and now that raises more questions, because how did you do all of this other stuff? Like, she didn't have a ride, she was scared, like all this stuff. But then you're like, oh yeah, but I did go see him the day after I got stabbed. Okay, so if you saw him the day after you got stabbed, then he should know that. And then he should know you also don't have your phone. Like, I'm so confused.
Fucked up, not healed up at all. Drew on a change of clothes and went to visit him the next day. Talked to him the day after that on his dad's phone. Got the boot off the car. I don't think I can handle anymore, I'm telling him. He's telling me, stay strong, babe, it's okay. I was never thinking that he had anything to do with those girls stabbing me. Never. But could he have? Maybe. They won't let me talk to him and find out. I don't know to this day why those girls stabbed me. To this day, I don't know why those girls stabbed me. So, there's been no follow-up from the state.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm pausing it again. First of all, what do you mean they won't let you talk to him to figure out if he was like a part of it? You literally just said you just went to go see him the day after the stabbing. So if you had any like questions, like there you go. And then that's like another thing. Before I take my time out, like I've gotten in a couple of fights, but I know why I was fighting. So best believe if someone like rolled up on me and was like acting like they wanted to fight me or even have words with me, I would make sure, like, why are you coming at me? Like, I would not start engaging in anything at the freaking prison, which is just asinine. And then not only that, but actually meet up with these people at the store. She said she never ever met this girl before, or the two other girls. So, and she also said that she doesn't fight. She's a lady, so she doesn't fight. So I would have thought, like, if you don't know these people, you're not the type to fight, you have no idea, why wouldn't you get in your car and just go home? Why would you sit there and entertain strangers who supposedly want to fight you just because you're white? First off, I know that's what I mean. That's one of it. Depends on my mood and where I was at in life. If someone was coming at me like that, didn't like me because I was white and wanted to fight, I would be like, okay, I'm sorry, you know. And then I would go home, get my ass in my car and go home. But for it to get to the point where she didn't know these people, this just doesn't make sense to me. She doesn't know these people. She saw the girl at the prison just right before this, but it was the first time. And then supposedly the girl was like mad at her and didn't like her because she was white and she wanted to fight her. Okay, it still blows my mind that she didn't just get in her car and go home. But for her to go to the gas station and then plan to fight, why are you fighting? What are you fighting about? Like, I don't understand. Like, what the hell are you fighting about? And that way, you went and sit here after a screwdriver fucking stabbing, weird as hell, the hospital, and then the police not doing anything about it. You could have prevented all of that. And now you're sitting here wondering, who were those people? Did Dylan have anything to do with it? Whenever, for one, you could have just not even went to the gas station. You could have just, like, not even entertained it and gotten to your car and go, like, just go home. And then if you did feel some type of way and you, like, needed to finish some business, wouldn't you at least know what business you're settling? Like, why would you be like, yeah, let me take time and gas away from me and go meet you up at a gas station and fight you just because you're mad I'm white? Like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever, especially for someone who she says she's a lady, she doesn't fight. Then why would you fight her? Why would you take it to a gas station that's like, why would you, it doesn't make sense. If you're not that, like, why would you not just go home? Sorry, it just aggravates me. Like, it doesn't make sense. There's so many contradictions, and there's not enough. Like, I feel like she wouldn't even be able to tell her story if people were there to, like, have questions, because then she would be like, fudge. Like, she wouldn't be able to answer them, because then she would just contradict herself even more.
Follow-up from the state, no follow-up from the law, no follow-up from anyone. That was the beginning of when all of these instances started taking place, and it's been nonstop ever since then. And that was April 2019. So Dylan comes home and I'm sorry. That night after talking to him on the phone while he was with his dad, I go home, I have the kids. It starts storming like a motherfucker. I hear something outside, bop, 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 and my car's parked underneath the train. I was at 1827 West Kyler. I go and move my car. It was water dumping down from the railroad tracks, and there was about 2 feet of water under my car. I go move my car to the other side of the street. I try getting back into my house. All 3 kids are sleeping. The pressure from the water pouring into my house, from every faucet, from the toilet, from the sinks, from the doors.
That is crazy.
Every faucet, from the toilet, from the sinks, from the doors. My whole house was flooded. I couldn't even get the door open. I pushed that motherfucker with all my might.
Okay, gosh, dang it, I'm getting so aggravated. She said she could not get into the house, but how in the world does she know all of this water was pouring out of the faucets and the toilets and every drain? How does she know that if she wasn't able to get into the house? Maybe I'm just not a very good listener.
My kids were crying. I picked up the baby Alexis. She was 6, 5 at the time. I threw her over my shoulder. I grabbed the hands of the big kids. My daughter grabbed small Dylan, the cat, and we left. I put him in the car. It was 2 or 3 in the morning. I had no idea where we were going to go. I tried calling the family, but they were sleeping. It was the middle of the night. Cam called me right at that exact moment. Cam had stayed with me for 3 or 4 days when he first was released and slept on my couch. Again, all these guys, TC, Cam, I never had any sexual relationship with, not even the thought of it. They were like brothers to me. I tried calling the family, but they were sleeping. It was the middle of the night. Cam called me right at that.
Okay, and this is another thing, that if it is like an emergency, why would you not just go to the person, like your family's house? I hope y'all could hear me. Like, just because it was like at night and they were sleeping, why couldn't you just drive to their house instead of some dude? And did she just say that she had a cat named Dylan?
At that moment, Cam had stayed with me for 3 or 4 days when he first was released and slept on my couch. Again, all these guys, TC, Cam, I never had any sexual relationship with, not even the thought of it. They were like brothers to me. So Cam calls, "Are you okay?" "No, I'm not okay." I explain about the flood. He tells me he has a room at the Silversmith Hotel, that I can come take the room. It's a suite, a huge suite. I'm so grateful. I drive downtown. I leave the cat in the car, and I take the kids up. Cam's in the room by himself, and I tell him, I know he's been, he parties from time to time, so I make sure I ask him on the phone before I get there and as soon as I arrive. This is not a party, right? I need my kids to have a few more hours of sleep. I'm leaving first thing in the morning. You're not having anyone here. He promised me, no, I'm not even staying here. It's for you and the kids. Thank you. So I put the kids in the king-size bed in the end room. I put on a movie for them. They go back to sleep. Some guy comes in, African dude. I don't know him, I've never seen him before, but him and Cam go in the bathroom and start taking a bump. I fucking was pissed. I come storming out of the bedroom like, bro, I asked you 2 times. Now I got my kids in bed. You told me no one was gonna be here. They respectfully grabbed their shit and got the fuck out in that exact moment. Didn't even argue with me. They left. The kids went to sleep. I sat up. I sat up the whole night. I waited for morning to come. And then the kids and I left. I went and dropped the big kids off at their dad's, the baby off at her dad's, and went back to the apartment to try to see what I could salvage. Now, in a matter of 2 weeks, my entire life has been ruined. I've been physically assaulted and stabbed numerous times. My car has been booted and all my money has been stolen. I've been ignored by the criminal justice system. I have nowhere to live. In a matter of 2 weeks, and it's 2 weeks before Dylan gets out of prison.
Okay, so wait. So does she not have a place to live because she had water damage? Because if it was not that bad, she could just temporarily stay somewhere for a few weeks while the apartment building fixed that and got it under control, and then she would be able to go back to her place. So, damn it, all of this stuff that she's naming, it's like there's a reason, like a legitimate reason why, you know what I'm saying? Like, she would always be like, got kicked out of my home. Okay, so now you really didn't get kicked out of your home. It got flooded. And it either got flooded so bad that you wasn't able to stay there and you didn't want to wait to get back in, or got flooded so bad where, I mean, it had to get flooded really, really, really bad in order for a whole apartment building to say, yep, screw it, I'm not working on it. But I find that hard to believe because she said it was a storm. She didn't say it was a hurricane, tornado, like nothing. I know storms can get that bad, but not like to that extent. So now here's another one I feel like I could cross off the list with got kicked out of another place. So I don't know. It's just so irritating. It's about done anyways.
And we're supposed to shoot a reality show in our house. And I don't even have a parole address for him because my house is flooded. I'm gonna leave it right there for now, but we can pick that back up later. It's a lot for me to remember, it's a lot for me to discuss. All of this is prior to them beating the fuck out of me with a tire iron. Prior to me getting raped 4 times. And we're supposed to shoot a reality show in our house. And I don't even have a parole address for him because my house is flooded. I'm gonna leave it right there for now, but we can pick that back up later. It's a lot for me to remember, it's a lot for me to discuss. All of this is prior to them beating the fuck out of me with a tire iron. Prior to me getting raped 4 times because they put me outside in my new apartment. I'm done. Where the fuck is my check?